Welcome to another Tuesday Team Prosperity Training. This is a weekly training we do every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. We go through various parts of our business model. We also touch on personal, professional development, things to get ahead, how to get out of your own way, just things that you need to know to build a successful book of business or distribution through agency build out in the financial services business. We always like to start with what we covered last week. And I really got two things on here because I've got the last couple of weeks here. Because what we've been doing and how we've been structuring this the last couple of weeks is really to help new agents or agents that are circling back around that maybe are coming into our model that haven't found traction in other areas. So it's designed to really help you get off the ground, get traction, gain velocity, and then grow and scale your business as an asset so that you can actually walk away from it and it'll still operate without your day-to-day activity. So last week we went through the benchmarks. And when you have those benchmarks, it's your roadmap to success in financial services. So that just breaks down everything that a new agent really needs to know, or like I said, somebody else circling back around into our model, still trying to find the traction in the industry. And then we also did a week before that or so from ground zero to growth, how to build a career, a business, and an asset in financial services. Today, what we're going to be concentrating on is lead generation, but I wanted to make sure you guys knew the last few weeks have been centered around getting your business up off the ground. So if that's where you are in your career, go ahead and check those out. Also, if you are building agencies, you also need to know this is the typical stuff that people would need to go through. We built the framework, including milestones they need to reach with the expectations of what's coming from our side, as well as what we expect to come from their side. So let's get into today's training. This is about lead generation mastery. Lead generation is the lifeblood of your business. If you don't have leads, you'll find out very quickly and very soon, unfortunately, you don't have a business. So this is about filling your pipeline from every part of our model. And really what we've done really it started in COVID. We just designed a business model around various components under the umbrella of financial services that's designed to do two things: help you guys monetize the relationships that you're forming and help the client side win the money game, beat the banks. And we have different parts and different strategies and solutions within there that creates multiple points of monetization and multiple points for your clients to win the money game here. So our goal and our objective today is help you guys build a predictable, sustainable lead generation system using every vertical in our business model. That's combining all of your markets. That's warm, common, social, and cold market. People always argue what market is the best. You should be using all the markets. You should have a diverse marketing strategy that includes different markets and different ways to reach people. These are also including actionable scripts, tools, and a weekly plan to make sure that you can measure yourself. Measurement is extremely important. If you're not able to measure, you're not being able to be accountable to that measurement and reflect on that, you're going to have a tough time growing yourself and then helping grow others, because really the framework for leadership is just fix yourself and then teach people how to fix themselves. That's it, guys. That's how you get richly rewarded in a model like that. So welcome to today's training. We're going to dive into the most important skill that drives every successful business. Let me let this person in. And that is lead generation. We talked about our business model. We talked about income producing activities and how to manage your time for maximum results. But now it's time to focus on filling the pipeline. Why? Because without a steady flow of leads, even the best business with the best products and services can't thrive. You can have the best strategy, the best solution, but if nobody knows who you are, nobody knows you're in business, nobody knows about the strategy or solution, does anybody really care? Probably not. You have to go out there and you have to be seen, you have to be heard. By the end of today's training, I want you guys to have a clear path to generate leads across every product and service that we offer. It doesn't mean that you have to go and do all of it. I just want to expose how to do each one of the business model components so that you guys have a firm understanding. How to specifically strategize for warm, common, social, and cold markets. Ready to use scripts, templates, campaign examples. What we're going to do is, this is an intro today. If you guys like this, I can go into more detailed and deeper information on next week. And then by the end of the training, I also want you guys to have a weekly lead generation plan that you can start using immediately. It's not about waiting. It's not about feeling that everything has to be in perfect alignment. That's just veiled ways to procrastinate, kick the can down the road. And that's very easy. If you learn to do that, your brain's going to just want to continue to do that day after day after day. So let's get into it. When you talk about lead generation, it's the foundation of your business. We talked about it a few minutes ago. It's the lifeblood of your business. It is going to be crucial. It's not a may have, it is a must have for your business. And when you look at lead generation systems, you look at lead generation strategies, you need to adopt one that's going to be education based, value based, not sales, not pitch, not recruit, but go out there and inform the public. And then from that information and education, you'll start to create conversations. And it's about sorting people. We've talked about this before. Lead generation isn't about just being lucky. Oh, I got this lead because I was just sitting around or waiting for referrals, right? You need to be asking for referrals. And we've got plenty of training on actively asking for referrals at the right moment with the right language. But it's not about waiting. It's about creating consistent activity that generates new conversations on the daily, right? Think of it as the engine that powers your business, the lifeblood of your business, the engine of your business, whatever it is that you want to focus on as far as the way that you look at it. But it is one of the most important pieces of your business. Before we get into the actual verticals, let's just cover the foundation, the four markets that you always, and this is important, that you can always tap into. Leads can be everywhere if you understand what you're doing, how to place yourself, and who you're talking to, and what they want from your side. So the warm market. The warm market, guys, is not about making a list when somebody first starts their business. The warm market is about people you know. Now, it's important to reach out for help in the beginning. Hey, I'm starting a new business. Can you help me with this? Kind of have your opinion? Can I have some constructive criticism about this, that, or the other? That's the way that you can get help from your friends and your family. But the warm market is also a walk of life, right? So as you're creating more relationships, more acquaintances, as you're seeing people that you maybe haven't seen in the past, these are people that you know. These are family, friends, past clients. These are people that you already have trust with. And this is one you're going to approach them with education, not a pitch. There is a warm up period for the warm market where you're just, especially if you haven't seen somebody for a long period of time, you're going to catch up with them. But ultimately, what you want to be placed in the warm market is mission-based conversations of helping them understand why you're doing what you're doing and how they can possibly help you help other people. It's not necessarily about them. They will get inundated with the information by helping you, but it's really about just asking for their help, asking for their criticism, and getting them in a position where they get introduced to what you do and how you help people, probably just like them. The common market, guys, is a great market to be in. Why? Because it's a loose affiliation. You may not have ever had a relationship with that person, but something joins you guys together. It might be a church, a gym, a school, a business group. You share an affiliation or a community with that person that will bridge the gap, that gives you an opening, not for 15, 20 minutes. I'm talking about 60 to 90 seconds. So you have to get what you want to say out there in a clear, concise, articulate way. But these relationships are warmish and easy to build because if you guys went to the same school, went to the same church, then that bridge, that loose affiliation will create that bridge to allow you. And once again, you got to get mission based. Why are you doing what you're doing? What drives you? How can you guys come together for the mutual benefit of yourself and other people? Common market is a lot about networking. And it's about getting in front of people and seeing how we can all form mutually beneficial relationships. If you get in the mindset of trying to develop mutually beneficial relationships with other people, your business will flourish. If you get in the habit of just being all about you, me, you're going to find it very hard to build because no one wants to hear about you all day. Remember, we talked about this before, especially in networking. You are building interest in what you do by showing interest in other people, asking questions. Social media market, this is something that has to be built over time, and I understand that. We have access to so many different types of people. And if you put the time, energy, effort into this over a little bit of period of time, study, and don't spread yourself too thin. I'm not talking about doing all the platforms. I'm talking about doing maybe one or two platforms extremely well. You'll get way better results from doing that than thinking you have to go out and do 6 or 7 different platforms. you can be the, jack of all trades, master of nothing, or you can really concentrate and get good. And then once you do that, guess what's going to happen? Now, if you choose to, you can branch off into other platforms, or more importantly, you can teach other people. You trailblaze the path. Hey, this is what you do in Facebook groups. This is what you do on LinkedIn. This is what you do on this particular platform. Social media is your extended reach. Your marketing plan, if it doesn't include social media, it's not done yet. No matter how much you may not use social media, hate social media, it's extremely important part of the asset build and the brand awareness of who you are. People who can see your content, they can follow your posts, they can engage with you online. Your visibility is your credibility. You want to do three things online. You want to build every day, you want to engage every day, and then you want to sell at the appropriate moment. That means that not everybody is going to be
Moron.
that moment and that time. So make sure that you are getting in front of them with information, entertainment, education. Be authentic, build your brand, and then through time, you will find at the right time in the right place, somebody will need something from you. Coal market. People say they hate the coal market. I find a lot of success in the coal market because it's just people. If you're developing personas and you've got solutions to people's problems, why does it matter where you reach them? These are people that you have no relationship with. It's not the common market. It's not the warm market. They haven't really seen anything from you on social media. This is purchase lists, networking events, digital campaigns. This is going to require a warm up. So it requires a system. It requires consistency and follow up automation. But you can make six figures, high six figures as a producer. You can make seven figures plus as an agency builder in the cold market. So don't think that because it's called the cold market and because it requires a little bit more effort in terms of follow up consistency in a system, that you should ignore it. You should take all the markets into your lead generation plan and have an effective framework in each one of those, understanding the market and then what I need to do in that market. Okay, so let's move on. This is really where I think our business model is going to help attract the right type of clients and the right type of partners for you. So let's go through our lead generation by vertical, to help you guys understand how to make money here and how it all connects together. So convert debt to wealth. This is like using technology like the Money Max account, and then by doing that and solving a problem on the front side, helping homeowners and families eliminate the bank's profit, redirect that into wealth. Whether it's just the debt side, whether it's the wealth side, whether it's both connected together, convert debt to wealth is our message to the market. People have too much debt and too little wealth. So that's our problem. That's what we try to solve. And when you get in front of somebody talking about something that, you know, is something they already have that's become a burden, like the mortgage, it's a lot easier to create those yes kind of formulas, get people interested in the conversation versus approaching with insurance. So what's going to happen? Well, if they use the technology, we teach them how to do that. We're going to learn about their insurance, learn about their retirement. That's all data that goes into the program. So it's a great lead generation tool. It's great monetization of that upfront conversation. It's a great way to learn more about your clients and get that coaching relationship started. The strategies by the market, you're warm, just reconnect past clients, family, homeowners. Hey, would you be open to seeing how to pay off your home faster without refinancing? It's a simple yes or no question, guys. And I call this jab communication. And when you get into a rhythm of jab communication, you realize it's not about rebuttaling people or handling somebody's objection on the front side. If somebody's not open to see how to pay off the home faster without refinancing, you can't help somebody that's unwilling to learn. You're looking for those people with growth mindsets who are interested in getting information, education, guides, seeing savings reports, things like that. When you move into the common market, you can speak at classes, community events. You can set up booths at places. There's a lot of different, homes are being sold every single day. And I think that because we stay in our homes so long, and the average is, they move about every 7 years or so, 7 to 10 years, but homes are being sold every day. New homeowners are getting into new homes every single day. You need to go out and you need to reach these people. On social, it's all about education. It's all about facts. It's all about asking for people's opinion. The average homeowner pays 2.5 times what their house actually cost them in terms of the actual price. Let's fix that. So if somebody's getting ripped off, how quickly do they want to know? That's up to them. Some never want to know. Some want to know right away. And those are the people you want to talk to. In the coal market, you can use data lists, you can use Facebook ads targeting homeowners, with mortgage balances, you're looking to create an audience through a persona. These people are homeowners. They're probably 35 to 55. They've got kids, all of the things that we typically look for in other areas like insurance, they're right here. So you develop a persona, you just find those people who want to learn this information. We have convert debt to wealth guides, we have savings reports, we have technology we can offer them. There's a lot that can go just in this vertical, and it's a great vertical used for lead generation. Script is, for example, is you don't want to need some long script. And we have a lot of what we call explainer videos. They're like 1 minute long that will do a lot of this for you. But most families don't realize they're paying, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in unnecessary interest. If I can show you a way to cancel the bank's profit and redirect that towards wealth, would you want to see how? It's a proposition question, yes or no. Somebody doesn't want to see it. They're not saying no to you. They're saying no to a better financial future, and there's nothing you can do for those people. You need to move on to somebody who's more receptive to your message. And I think that's one of the agent's biggest problems is they think they take it personal. If somebody doesn't want to learn how to cancel the bank's profit, guess what? They're going to continue to be the bank's best client because the bank can rip them off. All right, be your own bank. Remember, we got a two-step process to convert debt to wealth. Step one is eliminate the bank's profit. Step two is take the bank's position. This is what we talk about, be your own bank. This can be a separate conversation or it can be combined into the debt to wealth conversation. This is about teaching people how to use life insurance as a private bank. Now, it's got to be structured correctly. You have to have the right products. You have to have a correct framework. That's what we do, and we make sure that we do what's in the best interest of the client. But this is about teaching people how to use life insurance in an effective way, for becoming their own bank. This strategy by the market is all about education because when you have a complicated contract, like let's say an IUL contract, you want to make sure people understand the contract they're entering into, what's expected of them, and what's expected on the backside based on realistic projections, not pie in the sky if all the stars align correctly. So in the war market, you're educating friends or professionals frustrated with traditional banks. How much would we prefer to take the bank's position over our own position in the relationship with the bank? Lots of people would want to flip that relationship, right? So we'll teach them how to do that if they're interested. Common market, you have partners, with local business owners, teaching business owners, they have the advantage of cash flow versus just net income of the W-2 employee, but it's all really about networking and it's all about teaching and it's all about being value-based proposition on the front side, offering ways to get ahead. On social, create short rules of the bank videos. The more you educate, the more you create your brand, the more that you are out there when people are searching and looking. If you can create a decent online presence, by the time somebody speaks to you, if they look you up, it's built the bottom of the pyramid, trust, rapport, credibility already. You don't have to do that in the opening minutes versus if you have absolutely nothing and then people need to know about you, you've got to spend that opening time creating that trust, rapport, credibility. So brand awareness online does a lot for you preemptively before you ever speak to people. Script example here, what if you could use the same dollar to both cancel and earn interest, just like the banks do? Would you be interested in learning how to do that? Once again, guys, this is not hard, long scripts that are designed to close people. This is short jab communication that's designed to find out someone wants to learn how to do something. If you want to learn how to get ahead, we have a lot of ways that we can get ahead inside our model. That's who we're looking for, and then we just sort them out. Another part of our vertical is tax-free retirement. This is IUL education. So remember, being your own bank requires certain types of IUL. Tax-free retirement can take on other IULs. So there's not one lane for an IUL that you fit everybody into. There's different products and different frameworks for the IUL, depending on what somebody's doing. If they want to create a tax-free retirement, this is about helping clients protect, grow, and access retirement funds tax-free. What are we doing in this part of our vertical? Very simply, guys, we are removing Uncle Sam as a partner in retirement in terms of restrictions and in terms of taxes. So, in terms of the warm market, ask, hey, what's your current plan to manage taxes in retirement? People don't know, guys. And if they're interested in learning how to remove Uncle Sam as a partner, which most people, especially of certain ages, should really want to learn how to do that stuff. then you talk to the people who want to learn. If somebody's willing to learn, they're probably willing to have a decent conversation with you. In the common market, speak at professional networking events about the importance of removing variables from retirement, like Uncle Sam, that can create control, peace of mind, better standard of living, less worry, less stress. Social LinkedIn post the 401k trap, why taxes may eat your retirement. What's the tax code going to be in the future? How high will taxes go? Well, the current debt is just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So somebody's got to deal with that. There's two tax systems in America, one for the informed, one for the uninformed. Most of the taxes are paid by the uninformed. And then a cold email campaign targeting age 40 to 60 professionals. Once again, you're developing personas, you're creating messages that resonate with that persona, and then you're doing deep dives on where to find those people, either in physical locations or online locations, and then just repeating the process and getting better at what you do. Script example here is if you could grow your retirement income tax-free, protected from market loss, would you want to learn how? That's all we're doing, guys. And if they do, we got videos, masterclasses, webinars, how-to guides that will do a lot of the education for you that will connect the bridge to the next call to action, which is discovery calls, meetings, reports, illustrations, whatever it might be, to get them in a position to make what? Buying decisions. And once again, we're just going through this to help you understand that you have a lot of different ways that you can get out in front of people and monetize conversations, build books of businesses, agencies here. But what do most insurance agents want to learn how to do? Well, they want to learn how to sell more insurance and make more money. So when you get in front of them and teach them how to do that, you can attract licensed agents who want more income and better systems. There's deficiencies in our industry with coaching, mentoring, training, support, infrastructure. We help fix that. So strategies by the market, warm, contact peers from licensing classes, join agent and common market. Once again, you're networking, joining agent networking, or, see Facebook groups, social, you have the iDecide presentations, cold, you have LinkedIn recruiter searches. LinkedIn, you can really dive deep into those searches and just filter exactly what you're looking for and find exactly who you're looking for. Script example here. If you could sell more insurance, make more money, and earn equity, would you be open to exploring how? It's a yes or no question. So it's pretty simple, guys. This is how the model works, and this is how easy it is to sort people out. Mortgage protection is one of the absolute easiest ways to sell basic insurance term because it's not a complicated contract. It's straightforward. You have a face value, you have living benefits, and you have a premium they pay per month. That's all they really need to understand. So you're helping new homeowners protect their largest asset, their largest expense, however you want to look at it. They bought their dream home. We're going to help them stay in their dream home in times of uncertainty. So the strategies by the market is warm. Reach out to anyone who's bought a home in the last 3 years. Common. Partner with real estate agents or mortgage officers. Remember, create a mutually beneficial relationship. Help them understand how we can create more house sales, how we can create more loans by doing this system and helping people, create abilities to either pay off their home sooner or protect their home. And then in social, you just create educational videos for mortgage protection safety. Mortgage protection is one of those things where you just get in front of people, help them understand you are hedging a consequence of risk, and then doing it right there. It's not one of the insurance is not one of those things where, hey, I'm so excited today, I'm going to wake up and buy that term and living benefits. But it is one of the things that gets it checked off the list. You're the agent, you're right in front of them, help them get that done. And then, God forbid, if something ever happens and that policy pays out, either for a premature death or the living benefits or whatever it might be, that is one of the most important financial conversations you will ever have with those particular people, and they will be thankful you had that conversation with them. So you as the agent needs to push mortgage protection, helping them understand, get it off the list, pay for it, and move on with your life. Script example, when you bought your home, did anyone show you how to protect if something unexpected happened? These are all yes or no questions. 6, biz-to-biz equity recruitment. You recruit non-licensed and licensed people. You can recruit business-minded agents who want to build ownership. This is all about equity. This is all about ownership. This is all about timeline of events that's unfolding right now. War market, former colleagues or entrepreneurial friends who would understand the value of $1 billion plus equity play. Common, Chamber of Commerce, BNI events, alignable, things like that, that you can meet with people and just share. And once again, it's not all about you, me. It's all about just getting to know people, networking, being that person that, can listen and wait for their time to talk. And then social, LinkedIn posts, build equity, build your agency, build your future. If you're going to be in the insurance industry, if you're going to be an insurance agent, why not build ownership? Why not build equity? Why not be part of an acquisition? That's my basic question to the agent. And then Cole, paid ads for agent equity agency opportunities. If you don't have money for your business, what you need to do is understand organically, it takes a little bit more sweat equity to get this done. But what you want to do is create revenue and income for yourself, pay yourself for the time and energy invested into your business, and create a marketing budget for yourself so that not everything is outbound manufactured. You've got some inbound leads coming, you've got things to work. It's a lot easier when you wake up in the morning if you already got things on your calendar for marketing versus having to manufacture that. But in the beginning, especially, you have to go through that period of time. Script example here. What if you could build an insurance business that earned you equity like an owner, not just commissions? Are you interested in learning how? That's it, guys. Just proposition questions, moving on. If they're ready, if they say yes, moving to a call to action. If they're not ready, they're not interested, moving to a disqualification. Student loan forgiveness. This falls really on the convert debt to wealth line because what we found is that there's two types of people that can be helped here. If they're not paying their student loans, they're coming due. How much is that going to affect their financial picture? They need to understand their options. If they are paying their student loans, how much are they paying per month? How much of that budget is eaten up by the student loans? And if we can get those payments down to zero and redirect that into insurance, retirement, things like that, you've greatly helped, once again, on the debt to wealth conversion cycle, take student loan debt and convert that into insurance, retirement, things like that. But you've also freed up money. And that's a lot easier for people to allocate to things like insurance and retirement than new money. So if somebody's paying $700 a month for student loans, we can get that down to zero, and we can take 500 of that into insurance and retirement. Guess what? That's multiple sales for you. That's multiple ways you've helped a client, and then you are helping uncover money to put to work. You're converting debt to wealth and really falling back on the crux of our main message. Help borrowers reduce their payments, free up cash flow. If somebody has student loans, they should be interested in a free complimentary consultation to understand all their options. So when you're reaching out to them, just like, if somebody has a mortgage, you're talking about, hey, we can teach you how to possibly reduce the time to pay off the mortgage as little as getting it paid off in 5 to 7 years. Same thing with student loans here. Somebody has student loans, they should be very receptive to wanting to hear about possibly how to get rid of those because it's a burden. They already have that. Start the conversation that way. You help them with their student loans. It builds the trust, rapport, credibility, and you can move on to other areas of our business model. Most of our clients end up buying about 3 products from us. So reach out to friends in healthcare, education, public service, who went to school, who went to college. Some of the time, just because they went to college a while back does not mean their student loans are paid off. People have been paying on their student loans for years and years and years and years and basically still owe the same thing. So don't think just because they just didn't graduate, they still don't have student loan debt. You don't know unless you ask. Common, post flyers, hospitals, schools. Who has the most student loan debt? Do some research, get in front of those people. And if they're already paying, like I said, and you can teach them how to take that debt and convert that into other areas of their financial plan, like insurance and retirement, it's better for you, better for them. TikTok videos. Millions are overpaying student loans right now. You want to learn how not to be one of those people? And then cold email text campaigns to public employees. Once again, you're looking for people that you think have high student loan debt that we can help the most. Somebody has 100K plus in student loan debt. That's a prime example of someone that probably is very interested in having the consultation and that we can help and it would fit into the frame of the service that we offer. On the script example here, do you know anyone? Do you know if you're paying more than you should on your student loans? We can connect you for a free consultation. Remember, it's a burden. They already have it. You're helping them get rid of it. So some of our model is about getting rid of a burden. Some of our model is about getting ahead, getting stuff in place that can either help reach a goal or avoid a problem. And then the employer tax savings program. Our employer tax savings program is different because we are hooking up $200 a month average target IULs to that. What does that do? Well, most of these programs have, if they have insurance in them, have a small, whole life 10 or 15,000, not a big deal. So what we're doing is we're taking those same IRS rules, and we're helping business owners offer free employee benefits and save taxes. So, if you're getting a $200 a month on average IUL, what is that doing? It's building protection, building wealth for that particular employee as a payroll deduction. And for you as an agent, you are creating velocity to how you create IUL sales. If you get in front of a business of 5, 10, 15, 20, that's 5, 10, 15, 20 IULs that are coming through at one time as a payroll deduction, not an out-of-pocket expense for the employee or the employer. So warm market, local business contacts, common market, chamber events, trade associations, social, LinkedIn articles. You can pinpoint small, medium-sized businesses. Also, in your local communities, who are you doing business with? Who are you picking up food for? What restaurants do you go to? What businesses do you interact with locally? Get a flyer. We have flyers. If you need them, let me know and just offer this to them. Would you like happier employees without having to say or spend any money? And then outreach, you don't want to get into huge businesses because you have so many layers that need to make for the decision makers. But those small and medium-sized businesses, especially family businesses of 5 or 10, great place to get started here. Would you be open to exploring a benefit that increases retention but costs your company absolutely nothing? Do you want healthier, happier employees without costing you anything? More productive employees? These are, once again, proposition questions that are yes or no, designed to either disqualify or qualify them to the next action step. All right, let's move on from the vertical. I hope the vertical helps you understand the power of the different components, how they can be individualized or how they overlap each other to create multiple points of monetization. Now let's talk about integrating tools and systems, because this is the power of leverage. Our success and your success comes from leverage, using tools to multiply your reach. So this is all about, using automation whenever you can. Automate the education. Use different presentations for clients and partners, whether it's iDecide, masterclasses, on-demand webinars, whatever it might be. Automate as much of the front-end education that you can, because the automation itself will do a lot of the sifting, will qualify, will disqualify, and then use your CRMs, like your high level, tag leads, understand who you're dealing with, have effective notes, automate the follow-ups. If you can text, email, remind somebody, if I'm on a meeting and I've got automation running, that's like having an employee, right? So understand the value and the power of leverage and automation, and then use it effectively. Everything in your business can't be automated, but you want to automate as much as you can so that the time that you spend with people, whether it's partners or clients, those are valuable conversations and needed conversations on a human level. And then the content planner, what you want to have is 3 educational posts per week, 2 personal engagement posts, 1 short video. Get in the habit of posting, get in the habit of being authentic, be in the habit of just, letting people learn about you as a business person, as a person in general. And then offline integration, we talked about this in a few trainings ago where we talked about the difference between physical and digital media and how you can bridge those with things like QR codes on business cards that lead to things like funnels and iDecides and other ways. So you can take that physical media and physical advertising, and then you can bridge it over to digital with things like QR codes. Weekly lead generation plan. Remember, you have to have a plan of action. You have to have execution of that plan, and then understanding, is the plan working or not? How do you do that? By measurement. How far, how close am I getting to what I expected? Success in this business is built through daily consistency, guys. Everything really, whether it's personal or professional development, is going to come through consistency. In our business, it's daily consistency. So when you look at what you need to do, you break it down. Hey, what do I want from the warm market, common market, social market, cold market? If it's conversations with people community networking, shared interest, the posts that you need to do, or new contacts, whether it's, ads, list, events, wherever you are in your business, it's different. Some of us are building organically to get it off the ground. Some of us have money to deploy in different types of paid advertising. But the focus here and the key is to focus on activity consistency, not perfection. You are looking to make mistakes, especially early in your business. The more mistakes you make, the better we feel that you are developing the stepping stones to success. And then really, guys, closing, I just want to motivate you guys in a couple of different ways, because every conversation is going to plant a seed, and you never know which one grows into your next breakthrough. A lot of conversations go absolutely nowhere, and I understand that. You have to get through those to get to the meaningful conversations. You now have a system that pulls leads from every part of our business model, clients and partners alike. Your challenge this week for yourself going forward, your agents, is pick a vertical and one market to dominate in. Don't try to do everything at one time. What's one market and what's one vertical? I'm going to put them together and I'm going to dominate that. Build momentum there, track your activity, watch your results multiply. And remember, lead generation is not a gamble, it's discipline. The more consistent you are, the luckier you get. As you look through, guys, look at this. 2026, we're in the end of 2025 right now. 2026 is going to come in. It's going to be January, February, March, April, May, June, July, then 2027, 2028, 2029. The time passes. Whether you go all out on this opportunity or you do absolutely nothing, the days, the weeks, the months will pass. Equity checks will be written. Will you be one of the receivers? I hope so, because this is a golden opportunity to build $1 billion business and then be part of it.